I'm Jenny Fern, and welcome to my library. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. Okay, almost died by book. I don't care why you're here. I have no judgment. Do you want short books because you want to complete your Goodreads goal? Great, love it, stick around. Do you want short, experimental work? Maybe. There's some of that here too. Do you just love something snappy, especially to get you out of a reading funk? I'm here for you. Today, I have 11 short books. Books you could read in one sitting for any of your needs that come highly recommended by me. The first book I have for you is 113 pages long and it has pictures. This is one of my favorite books of all time. It is so touching and poignant for me, and I think a lot of people. It is a beloved classic. That is The Little Prince. This is a wonderful translated work. It is about a little prince who comes from his own little planet where he tends a rose. He meets a pilot who has landed in the Sahara, and they are there together. And the little prince is talking about his story, about how he got there. It is so touching and so much about life. The next book that I have is 190 pages, and this is also somewhat mixed media because this features some photos and some tweets. There are pages that feel almost more like a website than they do a book. This is Rental Person Who Does Nothing, a memoir by Shoji Morimoto. And this is about a man who lives in Japan. He has decided for his life at this current moment to offer a service where there's no expectation of him. He will show up to do nothing with you or around you. The idea being having no expectations, having no exchange of money. He asks just for the travel tickets, like a train ticket, if necessary, the cost of the food. It is such an interesting way to live life, and if you're kind of interested in looking at things not through capitalism, just a fully different lens to view the world, and the experiences that he recounts and the differences of this experience from everyday life. I just really enjoyed hearing about this experience. The next book that I have is 147 pages long, and this is like a full, complete story. This is Lemon by Kwon Yo-sun. It's about the murder of this teen girl, and it's about the people around her at that time, and kind of just like what happened. It features her sister looking into the story of her sister who was killed and kind of trying to piece things together. I very much enjoyed this. This is outside of my comfort zone for types of plots that I would read, but it's such a short blip into a very well-told story. The next book that I have is 223 pages. But do not be alarmed that it is over 200 pages, because this is a graphic novel. This is one of my all-time favorite graphic novels that I've ever read, and that is Snapdragon by Kat Lei. This is a story of a girl named Snap and her friend Lulu, and this mysterious witch, possibly, who takes roadkill off the side of the road and also helps revive injured animals. Snap goes to this woman with a litter of abandoned possums, really unravels a whole story of entanglements and magic. It's just such a wonderful graphic novel. It packs so much in a small story, and it's beautiful. It is lovely. So I highly recommend Snapdragon. I have another long one. It's 246 pages, but again, this is quite mixed media. This is Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. This is told through a workplace's Slack channel or chat or whatever. I don't know. I use Teams at work, so I don't know. And it is so experimental, and I just really was immersed in this story. It's got like a little bit of like a Her vibe to it. It's about a man. He gets stuck in the Slack. That's what I'll tell you. Next I have something super short, 179 pages, and tiny, and extremely experimental. This is Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman, and this is all about different conceptions of time. Thinking through what different times would be like and how they would be experienced. It also has like some elements of like what's Einstein doing at this time in his life. It's such a wonderful package. Just makes you think so much. This next book I read this year. I want to reread it already. This is a short one, 116 pages, and that is The Factory by Hiroko Oyamada. Follows 3 different workers at this factory, and it follows their days. I don't even know how to explain it. It's surreal, but mundane. So mundane and so surreal at the same time. If you're a worker, I think you'll enjoy this. This book is 164 pages long. It's a full, complete story. It is. And then I woke up. This is a story that is slightly conceptual, but also so rooted in like a narrative, which is maybe a little funny because this is all about a world where instead of a real like biological, I don't know, fungal or bacterial or whatever zombie apocalypse, people have been infected by a narrative that there is a zombie apocalypse. And so there are people who are living in like a different world in their brains. They're seeing all of these horrifying things and they're acting accordingly. And then there's people who are seeing like a normal world outside of, you know, these people who are seeing things so differently. It is such a unique spin on a zombie story. It's good. This next one is 156 pages, and one of the wonderful things about short fiction is you can be experimental and it won't get overwhelming or weird or feel like it's too much. And I feel like that's great for this book because that's Open Throat by Henry Hoke. And this is written from the perspective of a mountain lion living in Los Angeles. It's just such a journey, and it is really also like hard-hitting. I just so fully enjoyed my time with this book. This next one is 114 pages, and this is an essay, an extended, slightly fictionalized essay, and that is A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. It is an older work. It's historical in that it's really about how women have just now started to write novels and be able to embrace the novel as a genre that they are able to contribute to. This is all about what women require to write novels. I just found so much of this so interesting. Liked it a lot, really enjoyed it. I hope you read it. This book is 181 pages, and again, told from an experimental perspective. This is Timbuktu, told from the perspective of a dog. It follows this dog who, at the beginning, he is with an unhoused man. They're living on the street, and his owner, his man, his companion, is dying. This dog is gonna have to figure out what to do about that. What is he gonna do? Aren't you so worried for him? As you can imagine, this is a touching story. This is a sad story. And then the last book I have here was such a wonderful, wonderful surprise for me when I read it. This is 93 pages long, and if you're not typically into classics, I think you might still want to pick this up. That's The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This is about an old man who's a fisherman, who's been very unsuccessful recently, and people are worried about him. He ends up getting a fish on the line that is massive. And this is about the story of him trying to pull that fish in and what happens. If you don't think you're into fishing, you might be into fishing. This is just a gripping story, and you just feel so many feelings in this story. I loved it. So those are my 11 books that I recommend for you if you want something short, you want something impactful, you want something experimental and cool, and if you are so far behind on your Goodreads goal and you really need to read some excellent but fast-paced work, I think you'll enjoy these. Please, if you have short, dynamic, thought-provoking, just darn good books that you would like to recommend that are under, you know, like 300 pages, please leave them in the comments. I am so willing to hear about more excellent short books. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider sharing it with a friend who you think might also enjoy this. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will be back again soon.